Be me. 2 years ago. Move in with girlfriend. Second floor apartment in a very white trash kind of area in New England. Rent is $900 a month, not bad given our jobs. 2 weeks after moving in was when some very minor paranormal activity began. It was objects falling down or being moved somewhere else, light thumps every now and there. This would be how activity continues for about 2 months. 2 months into living there, it's one night when we hear someone moving about in the kitchen. For context, our kitchen had only one door out, and that was to the hallway that lead up to our house's 3rd floor. That door was locked, all the doors were locked. Head out armed with not a gun but the typical baseball bat. No one is in the kitchen. This happens again a week later. Sound of someone fucking about in the kitchen becomes a once-a-week occurrence at night. About a month later, my girlfriend has a day off when she's asleep on the couch. Wakes up and sees a man in the apartment. She calls the police but they find no evidence anyone but her and the dog were in the apartment at the time. Describes what she saw as a normal-looking man, white, in maybe his 30s or something but wearing blue, all dark blue. The blue man, as I dubbed him, would be seen regularly. He'd appear randomly not just in the apartment but all over the property. I've even seen him once in the backyard early one morning. There was also a shadow person. I started seeing it randomly. Would always get a threatening vibe from him when I'd see it, like it hated us or something. No, there was never an instance where the blue man and the shadow person were seen at once. Shadow person was strictly in the house in all the apartments while blue man wasn't bound to just inside the house. At some point a family moved into the 3rd floor. It was a week when the mom came down to our apartment and asked us if we heard anything strange. Told her yes. The mom tells us about an encounter her son had. Her son, who was maybe 10 or so, told her he saw a young boy staring in through the 3rd floor window. Just typing that made me so uneasy. Immediately creeped out. For those keeping score at home, that is officially 3 ghosts in one house. 10 months into living in house. The activity ramps up. What used to be objects falling became objects flying off kitchen counter, items tossed off couch, act. Girlfriend learns the 1st floor tenants have also run into the blue man. Then comes in the basement. God, I hated that basement. Every time I went down there it felt like I was being watched. This dark and hateful energy just came over me whenever I was down there. There was clearly a presence that wanted me out of there and I would oblige. One night while doing laundry down there I heard what I can only describe as a guttural hiss. I would begin hearing the hissing noise around the apartment from time to time after that. One night all the tenants are outside in the backyard. The mom on the 3rd floor tells me another story, of how the shadow person would come into her son's room at night and tell him awful things like how his father hated him and how he was a mistake, a burden on his parents, no one will ever love him, ict. That sends chills down my spine. Around this time the sound of people talking outside on the front porch could be heard, hear voices that sound like none of the neighbors but can't make out their words. Sound like they're arguing, the arguing escalates and then stops. There's also the sound of a phantom car that pulls into driveway at night that never leaves or is seen. At around the 1-year mark I would have an encounter with the man in blue. He was trying to speak to me. I couldn't quite get the grasp of what he was trying to say to me but I could see the words on his lips seem frantic. He just disappears. The activity in the home seems to hit its peak when one night both girlfriend and I encounter the shadow person. It begins trying to do something, like it's expanding itself. I'm not sure how to explain it. Girlfriend and I book it, take the dog and spend the night sleeping in the car. Morning after I see cop cars at the house. 1st floor tenant told some story about some homeless person breaking in and scaring us out. We spend the next few months trying to get ourselves out of that place. As this happens the activity continues but less severe. Sightings of the blue man seem to keep up. Around November 2019 the girlfriend word of mouth finds a place for us, smaller and 1st floor but better. Rent is about only $100 less, but that's a steal. Not sure what happened to the other tenants, but I heard both first floor is still there, third moved in with relatives. To this day I'm unsure of who the blue man is. I never really bothered to look into it. Encountering him was scary because ghost, but he never seemed threatening. Never did figure out anything about the child ghost, the hissing, or entity in the basement.